again today. This is my second time today. We're having some technical difficulties, so hopefully it's going to work out. But everyone knows me. I'm business coach Nancy, and I am here with Sheilah of DesignFiles. And Sheilah, you are a sponsor of the Interior Design Business Forum, and I'm so grateful for you. And everyone should be grateful for you and the other sponsors, because that's what helps keeps this group going for everybody. But more importantly, your program can really help new, seasoned designers track their projects and make it as smooth as possible. So today we're specifically talking about the thing they hate the most for most of them.
Yeah, we're going to dive into the least sexy part of running an interior design business, because managing all of those product orders that you have on the go for all your client projects, it's so time consuming. It's just one of those tedious tasks that you have to do. It lasts for months. It can last over a year, depending on the length of the project. And while that in itself is time consuming, you also have the flip side where you got your client and they're calling you every week and saying, hey, can I get an update on the status of this? And I get it. They're excited. They want to see their whole room to come together. Yes. But it can be a lot of extra time that you are having to put into just creating these reports for your client, keeping them up to date, keeping track of everything on your end. Is there an item that's been damaged and you need to replace it and have something else shipped? There's a lot going on.
Yes.
So because of that, what I thought we would do today is just kind of talk about some tools that can help make that process a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot more manageable. I'm not saying it's going to be your favorite process after you see these tools. It's not, but we can make it better for you. So,
you know what? And what I like is that if they have a virtual assistant or an assistant in their office, they can give them access through DesignFiles, has the ability to add team members, and they can assign it to someone. They can delegate it.
Exactly. You can get that off your shoulders. You can give it to somebody else, but somebody's going to have to manage it. So hopefully this will make it a lot easier.
Okay. So do you want to share your screen to show some stuff, or you just want to talk through some of the functions?
I think it's probably easier to share the screen, and then I can show how things work. And then what we can do is we can turn that screen share off and chat through anything else towards the end of this conversation.
All right, let's do it. You have to share your screen.
Okay.
And I have to put it up into the broadcast. Right now it looks like me and you. So you just have to switch yep.
Okay.
It's coming up. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm going to hide me and hide you and let you talk through the ultimate guide to streamlining your design order tracking.
Okay. So I thought maybe one of the easiest ways to just kind of go over how this would work for you is just to step into a project. Let's pretend this is a project that we have on the go. You can see that I've created this design board for my client. I've even invited them in so that they could review it and come down and see the full product list where they can approve items for order and they can leave any feedback for me. Now from here, if I see that they've gone ahead and they've approved everything, then I could go ahead and I can create an invoice for these items so I can collect payment on these products before I place this order. So what I would probably do is I just come straight up to the top of the page here. You can see your project navigation across the top, and you can go into invoices and you can immediately add all of those products to an invoice and bill your client for them. And you can see that I've actually done this here. So I'm just showing you some items that I've already created because really I want to focus the meat of this chat on the actual ordering process.
Okay.
But once you've created your invoice for those items and you've collected payment, one of the easiest things you can do to get those purchase orders ready and on the go is to just go directly into this button right here. And you'll see that if I come down here, there's a link where I can click to just create POs directly from the invoice. And if I click this link, the system's just going to spin up all of the purchase orders based on the products that I've added to that invoice. And all of those purchase orders will be added to my PO section right here. So here they are.
Oh, so it actually has it groups them together and gives you a PO, a purchase order just for that company.
Just for that company. So it doesn't matter if you've used, 5 different sources for the products that you just build for your client. When you tell the system to take that invoice and turn it into purchase orders, it breaks it down by the vendor and then spins up the purchase order for each of those vendors. Nice. So if I go into this one for interiors here, we'll just look at it. it's not only just kind of generating the purchase order, but it's pulling in all the exact product details as well. So I don't have to waste my time filling out the individual fields for the product name, SKU, dimensions, material and finish, blah, 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 blah. All of that gets pulled straight in. You can see we've got quantities over here and the total cost. And if I'm good to go with this, I could just come right down to the bottom, send this PO directly to my vendor. If I wanted to add any extra notes, I can add them in here, and I can also add attachments as well.
Nice.
So it just makes creating the purchase orders take maybe a few, a few seconds, maybe a couple minutes tops if you want to make any individual changes to it, instead of taking all that extra time to build this out from scratch for each of those vendors.
Yes.
And then one of the other features that we added in here is that for any of the purchase orders that you create within DesignFiles, all of those are automatically added to your product tracker. And this is where you and your team have that one view where you can come in, you can see all the purchase orders you have on the go, you can expand any of these, you can see the individual fields or the individual columns where you can start adding in details to keep up to date with the status of these products. So if I ordered the product on a specific date, I just come in and I say, this is when I ordered it. When I hear back from my vendor who says, hey, the product's going to be shipping on this date, I can add it in. When I know when the product's actually going to be delivered, I can add it in. So you've got all these individual columns. You can come in, you can add in your details, you can add any extra notes. And one of the nice things that we've recently added into this feature is that while we had a lot of designers that were really liking the product tracker for keeping track of all the orders for any given project, one of the areas that they were still struggling with was that their clients are still calling them, emailing them, saying, hey, what's the status of this? And blah, 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 blah. Right. So to eliminate that task from your shoulders, we actually enabled the client-facing product tracker view here. Ooh. So this is new to the system. All you have to do is turn this toggle on. And then when you do that, what it's going to do is it's actually going to open up a client-facing tracker view in your client's portal. So when they log into their project, they can go straight into their tracker and they'll see a clean, simple view like this, where they can see the status of all these items. They can come in, they can check. Yeah, so they can come in, they can check it out whenever they want. They can stop harassing you for details, and then they'll just be able to see, okay, I can see that this one's delivered. Great. We can see that this one is, this is the estimated delivery date here. So I just have a sense for where all these items are for this project, when I can expect them. And one of the cool things about this client-facing tracker is that if you are going to have the product shipped directly to your client's home, if the client wakes up one morning and it's like, hey, this product's delivered, they can actually come into their tracker and say, okay, this one was delivered, so we're all set on this one, and I'm just keeping an eye out for these ones now.
Okay, so that works for some jobs when you're delivering directly to the client as opposed to a warehouse.
Yeah, so it's a case where if you are going to deliver directly to the client, they can do this. And if it's going to be a case where you're delivering it to a warehouse and then you're having it sent directly to your client for the install day, then at that point, everything's here at your client's home and you're good to go. Right. But this is a view that will just give your client that extra information that they want so that they don't have to keep bothering you to get that information to them. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do when it comes to the tracker. You can see down here that I've added a note here because let's just say this product was damaged. We had to reorder it. So I want to let my client know this is what the state is for this particular product. Okay. If you want to include notes that are going to show on your client tracker, we'll just close out of here. I'm going to come back to my main product tracker view. And if I scroll over here, we've got two additional columns. You've got one for your private notes, so that's just for you or for any extra team members. So if there's something that you just want to take note of, but you don't want your client to see that information, add it here. If you want to include notes that your client is going to be able to see, then you've got a column that's specific for that. Add those notes here, and they're the ones that are going to show up in the client-facing tracker.
I love that. I love that you have your private notes or your client.
Always for the private notes. There's always going to be some case where you got certain details that your client just doesn't need to see. So.
Absolutely. A lot of details your client doesn't need to see.
Yeah.
All right. So, especially when it comes to the products lately.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can still add notes on the individual cells here as well. That's not going to show in your client-facing tracker. Only the ones over here. That's where you can actually say, okay, this is something I want my client to see. I'm going to add it in this section.
Okay.
Now, one thing that I should mention here, I'm just going to close this, this particular order because you can see that I've got 3 on the go. This one's set as a draft. If you have orders in your tracker and they're set as a draft, they are not going to show within the client-facing view because we don't want there to be any confusion that items appear to be ordered when in fact the order hasn't been placed.
Okay.
So if I open this up and let's say I came in and I go ahead and I add the date for when I've actually placed this order, just keep in mind that you do need to change the overall status of the order here. So we want to make sure that this is not left as draft. We need to show that this order has been submitted. As long as you change the status to anything but draft, we're going to go ahead and update that. And now if I go back into the client-facing view, you'll see those additional products have been added in. So my client now can see the status of these as well.
Very cool. Okay.
So
love that. Love that. So there's not, let me just ask you one other thing. When you trigger the purchase order, will it fill in the date as that's when you ordered it? Or do you have to go in and fill in that date?
You would have to go in and fill this date because technically when you are placing the purchase order, you're sending it directly out to the vendor by, let's go into one of these purchase orders. Okay, down here, you're submitting the order to the vendor, but I just, because I don't know, I like being extra safe, I would probably wait to get the confirmation back from the vendor that they in fact have this. And then I would go into my tracker and I'd say, okay, good. It's officially done on this date. And now we're going to wait for additional details to come through.
And will it update all the items for that company all at once? Or do you have to go item by item?
There's an option within the tracker. So if I go in here, let's see if I've got one. Okay. Whether I click in here, you're going to see that I could just do the date for this particular product, or I can hit this checkbox right here to say that I want to apply this date to every item within this order. And then it would do that.
That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, good.
Okay.
Exactly what I wanted. All right.
And I guess I should state, if you do get any documents or anything like that from your vendor and you just want to add those documents to the order in some place, you can of course add them here. And any of the purchase orders that you've created, if you click into the purchase orders, you're also going to see, let's see here. Let's go into this Arterials one. So I just wanted to see if there was, did I not send out the invoice for this particular one? Maybe it was set as a draft in this case because we're just setting up a project. If I had sent the invoice to my client, you would actually see a link here saying this purchase order is attached to this invoice. So you always have this backtrack history where you can quickly get back and forth to your documents.
Gotcha. Okay. And I just thought of something else. And you know that sometimes on these lives, I go, do you do this? And you go, no, that's a good idea though. Maybe we should try.
Hit me.
Is there a way to forward an email to any of these individual manufacturer purchase orders as an attachment? So, well, you know how Trello or Asana, you can forward an email. Maybe you don't know that, but you can forward an email to a card. And then like, so if one of my, let's say I have 35 clients, 35 clients, they individually send me emails. We can literally, after I answer, send it to their card in Trello and it'll attach to their file. So in the future, I don't have to go digging for that email. It's all attached within their client card. So I'm curious whether there's the ability to forward an email from, let's say, Forehands on the status of this and put it into the private. And same with client, same with client emails. Is there a way to, and that's a whole different live, but let me just go with my thought here. Client emails that come in, it can be sent to their account and stored in the format of the original email.
Okay, so we don't have that functionality. Okay. So we would have to think a little bit about how that would set up. But I would just like to get a better sense of how, the reasoning behind the need for that. So let's say I've got this order on the go for Arterials. I get an email from the vendor saying the products are going to be shipped on a certain date. Are you wanting that email to be forwarded into the tracker somewhere so you have that as a reference point?
Well, no, what they should do is go in and say when it's going to be shipped by, and they should go in. But let's say a designer is very busy right now and they're not keeping track of their emails as well as they should, or they want to send it to their assistant. They could just place all the emails along into the individual manufacturer's file, so to speak, and keep track of any communications. Like, what if they get a communication? Like, listen, we had one left, it's gone now. You need to reorder. Like, all that
I
stuff.
see.
Like, not just it's been shipped or that we've gotten your order, but an additional step where all those emails can be saved within this design file client tracker, so that you don't have to ever have separate mailboxes for all your clients, which is what a lot of people do.
Okay, that's interesting. So I can definitely take that feedback back to the team. We can look into something like that. It's not something that we have available at this time, but there's always room for improvement on any feature.
Just a thought I had, because I know that a lot of my clients, I'm like, they are asking each other, how do you keep track of all your client communications, right? And they're like, okay, client communications, manufacturer communications, vendor communications, they have mailboxes on their desktop sometimes with all this stuff, where if they were able to get an email from one of these clients, let's say it's the Kane, they answer it, they CC an address. Oop, I got to bring us back.
Yeah, I figured I might as well, we're just holding on the one screen, so we might as well chat.
Absolutely right. So you know what I'm saying, where every communication eventually goes into that Kane home file, and if it's a manufacturer, it can be attached to their purchase order, internal, private, just for the designer, and things like that. Do you use Trello or
I don't use Trello. We use Asana to just kind of manage our business. So, I mean, similar to Trello, you have your separate columns and your specific tasks that you're setting up.
But a feature where you could forward, I don't know if Asana has it, but Trello definitely does.
I don't remember seeing it in Asana, and if it does, it's just something that I've missed. But yeah, it's something to look into. I think one of the things that we would have to consider then is it's probably going to still be really important to be able to filter those emails down to the specific client project, because we're also looking into doing a global view for the tracker, so you can see all the orders you have on the go for all of your client projects in one view, instead of jumping into individual projects. So that's the next step for this.
Yeah, we talked about that 2 lives ago, I think, right? Having
probably
already underway doing that, you know.
Yeah, we got to take it step by step, you know. So that's the next part that we'll be focusing on. But I can see how having that communication in one place, getting all those emails from the vendor, tying it back to the project, having one area where you and your team can look at everything, I could see how that would be helpful. So that's it's not my area of expertise, but I get the fun job of just saying, hey guys, hey guys on the dev team, here's a thought.
You know what? I love the way Trello does it, because each client is my clients now, my coaching clients, has their own card, and the card has an address, an email address. So I can just go into Trello, pull the email address, and I'm sending the client a communication. I can BCC, private CC, or CC the card as well, and it just automatically gets put everywhere it needs to be put right away. So just a thought for design files, because you're already doing such an amazing job of streamlining this design order tracking. I'm like, this could just be one extra thing.
All right. Well, it's definitely something that we can look into. Always good for giving me extra ideas here.
I know, sorry, I'm always giving you extra work. I try to think like my clients, though. Like, these are things that they struggle with. As you know, your clients are great at telling you. Your Facebook group is very supportive and active of all your clients, and you guys are always responsive. Yeah, that was just my latest idea.
Okay, cool. I should let you know, the last time we had a live, we were talking about task management, and you had said, hey, can we do templated tasks? Now you can.
Oh, all right. So the benefits of going live.
There you go.
That's great. Okay. Yay. I'm glad I can help, improve the system. I love DesignFiles. I think it works really well for many, many designers. I think it is such a personal decision on what program they use.
Absolutely. There's plenty of options out there. Each one of us has a different set of tools, a different way that we approach the tools. You just got to find the one that's going to work best for your business.
Yes.
Personally, I think DesignFiles should cover it, but it's totally up to you. Yes. You got to find the one that works for you.
Definitely. So. All right. Anything else on the streamlining design order tracking that we didn't cover?
I think we pretty much covered it. The one thing that I did want to mention is that we are looking into doing the global view. So that will be coming next. So you don't have to jump into your projects. But right now, the current functionality should give you some tools that will just help make those purchase orders a lot faster. So you're not wasting the time to fill it in and start those from scratch each time. You do get the ability to have those automatically added to your tracker. So again, gives you that one location where you're not having to set it up yourself. It just happens for you. And then now you've got that client-facing view. So you can kind of get your clients to leave you alone so you can spend more time on your projects and they can just see the status of those items.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Less communication and more working on your project for your client.
Absolutely. Take that time to grow your business, to push projects forward, to bring in new clients, or to just take a break, because I know that I could probably take a break at some point here.
I know. I have one designer in my Profit Insider Academy. She's like, oh my God, my life is finally balanced. I'm with my kids more and I'm outside, and she's using DesignFiles, and she's like, I'm getting it and taking the time to learn it, which is what I really think a lot of people don't do. Like they buy a program and they don't really take the time it takes to learn it properly.
Yeah. And or they're using like a fraction of the tools and you're just missing out. There's so much more that you could be taking advantage on to just save more of your hours, consolidate more of your work.
Yes.
If it takes a little time to learn it, just reach out to us. We're going to talk to you so you can schedule in your half-hour demo calls. If you want help, you can reach out to the live chat. They're always available. You don't have to do this stuff on your own, and you honestly shouldn't have to. So just reach out. We're always happy to help.
Thank you so much, Sheilah. Thanks for being here again, and we'll see you next month. Everybody go have a great day, but do me a favor, go in the description and click on the DesignFiles link and check them out and see if it fits for your design firm. If you're currently not using a project management system, consider DesignFiles. If you are currently and you're not happy with them, consider DesignFiles. If you're happy where you are and it's working for you, then stay where you are, right? It's really a matter of what is working for your business. So,
absolutely.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you.